What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are we doing? We got a lot to talk about today. Sorry, a few minutes late here, but better late than never. You know the vibes. How's it going? Let's drop the intro. What's up, everybody? How are we feeling? How's everybody doing? Juan, Irvin, what's up? What's up, everybody in the chat? How are we doing? How are we feeling? Wednesday evening, prime time here. Prime time tonight. We a little prime time. How's everybody doing? We got a game on Sunday, and the anticipation continues to mount. I'm so excited. What's up, everybody? I am just so hyped. I can't wait for this game. Like, it just feels like it just needs to happen. All these people are talking. Raheem, Tyreek Hill was tweeting today, and everybody's saying what they got to say. We just got to see them play. We just got to see them play. But there was some news today. The players came back to practice, and we got to talk about the injury report. So first and foremost, let's talk about the 49ers, obviously, because that's who we care about. And let's talk about the injury report for the 49ers. So today, Christian McCaffrey did not practice. He's got the knee irritation. This was expected. They want to limit him. This week in practice and make sure he doesn't have any flare-ups. They're going to manage it very carefully, and people are concerned. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey does have a knee, does have injury history, so we got to make sure that he gets through this week in practice. Okay. So he did not practice, and a couple other players did not practice. Obviously, Elijah Mitchell, he missed time. He's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks with the MCL sprain, so he didn't practice. Charles Omenihu, who popped up on the practice report today, on the injury report today, with the knee irritation. Kyle Shanahan talked about it. He said it's very similar. That kind of sucks that Charles Omenihu's got a little knee issue going on, so they're going to be kind of wary and limit him through the week, make sure he can get through the week as well. Kyle Shanahan described it as some soreness or something like that, just like Christian McCaffrey. So we'll kind of see how that goes. Spencer Burford, they were going to test him out before practice to see if he can play. He did not practice today. He's got the ankle issue. Good news, though. Arik Armstead was practicing today. He was limited, but I seen some footage, and it looks like he was out there. He was jumping. Very good sign. Arik Armstead back practice this week. And Deebo Samuel practiced today, limited. He's got the quad issue, but he practiced today. And Jimmy Garoppolo, full practice today. He was dealing with the knee soreness, whatever the case was, and he got banged up on Sunday against the Saints, but he practiced today, full participant. Jimmy Guap, man, that guy's a warrior. He's tough. So he practiced. Again, Christian McCaffrey did not practice. Elijah Mitchell did not practice. Charles Omenihu did not practice. Got a little bit of a knee issue going. Spencer Burford did not practice today. Deebo Samuel was limited with the quad, and Arik Armstead returned today. He was limited as well. And Jimmy Garoppolo, full practice today. So that was kind of good news. The Dolphins, they had some players that were injured of importance. Raheem Mostert was limited. And Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins head coach, he noted that Teron Armstead, their left tackle, Pro Bowl left tackle, he's not going to have surgery, and he's actually not been ruled out to play Sunday. A couple days ago, they said that he's probably not going to play. Again, he has a pec injury, and he says he's trying to play on Sunday. He's played through a lot of injuries through his career, so it's kind of crazy. This guy's tough, man. This guy's a beast. It's kind of interesting because Mike McDaniel said this is on Teron. This is his decision. It's not going to be on anybody else. This is his decision. But a couple days ago, Raheem Mostert and said, they Niners over there trying to make players play through injury. This guy wants to play through injury. So sometimes it could be that the player wants to play and not the team forcing him. So that's all I'm going to say about that, Raheem. That's all I'm going to say. Don't sit here and tell us that they forced you to play. If you don't want to play, you don't have to play. A team has to do their due diligence and check on players the player wants to play, I mean, you can't force them not to. They're a grown man. So all I'm going to say is that, and this is kind of dangerous for Teron Armstead because he's a beast. He's a great player, but you don't want to risk it going up against a nasty defensive line like the Niner. Nick Bosa, he might rip his pec out of his chest. That's all I'm going to say. He might rip his pec out of his chest. Let's see. Yeah, Marco says he will have surgery after the game. He's going to have surgery after the game. If he comes into this game with pec issue and he has to go up against Nick Bosa, that boy's pec is going to be ripped out of his chest. I'm telling you, man, this man better be careful. They better be careful. They're going to rip that man's pec out of his damn chest. But hey, that's on them. It's not my, it doesn't bother me. I want to kind of talk about what Kyle Shanahan talked about with Christian McCaffrey. He says, he kind of explained the injury. So this is what he says. He goes, he felt something during Sunday's game. So he did feel like a little bit of an irritation in the knee. So they're hopeful that he can play this weekend against Miami. But I don't like how he said it. The guy asked him, the reporter asked him, what do you explain with Christian McCaffrey? He goes, he just started to feel something on Sunday. It was discomfort, some irritation, and we just want to manage him. He played through it. And then they asked him, is he supposed to play? He goes, and he looked at his papers, and he kind of looked at it. He goes, well, he's not going to practice today. We hope he plays Sunday. So it feels like it's one of those things, sometimes Kyle doesn't give you the information, and it seems like he's hiding something. I feel like he might be hiding a little something with Christian McCaffrey. But again, they're going to be very cautious with him this week and limit him through practice. And hopefully he could play. He did play Sunday through the knee irritation, but you really don't want him to have to struggle through the injury. You want him to be, healthy for the playoff run. That's where you really want him. But this is December football. You need your best players. The good news is, I guess, the Niners do have a lot of depth at running back. They always have running backs. So they got Jordan Mason, who everybody's hyped on right now. I think he's going to be the guy that gets the big call. And again, TDP was practicing today. He's a guy that they could use, third-round pick. And they have Tevin Coleman, so we'll see. Daniel says, let's see. Daniel says, let's go Niners, baby. I hope Coach is smart about CMC. I do too. I hope he's very smart with him. He can't overuse. He can't. This is a delicate situation because he does have injury history from the past. G-Tech says, odds Greenlaw gets a personal foul on Tua. I mean, I'm sure the odds are high. Greenlaw plays with so much aggression, and he's going to come. He's going to come headhunting. And you know what the Niners said? Jimmy Ward a couple weeks ago, he goes, don't run on us. Do not run on us. If he runs out there, Greenlaw is going to come for that boy's neck, man. I don't know if they're going to get a personal foul because Greenlaw, yeah, I know he's aggressive. He's a surefire tackler. He plays the game the way it should be. But the way that they try to protect these quarterbacks, I wouldn't be surprised if they threw some stupid foul or penalty on him. But, man, Greenlaw is coming. He's coming for next. I already know. He's coming for next. I can't wait. Gold-blooded, this is a good point. He says, last time that was said, we still haven't seen Kinlaw since. Yeah, again, that's the thing with Kyle. Like, sometimes he says one thing, but you can't really know what he's saying with these injuries. Obviously, he's not going to tell you the whole truth. He's not going to tell you the whole brunt of it. He doesn't want to let you know everything, protect the player's privacy, whatever. But he said this about Armstead, too. I remember he goes, we're hopeful that he plays this week. This was weeks ago. We hope he's going to play. I think it was Monday night game, and we haven't seen Armstead since. So, I don't know, man. I hope that CMC's okay to go, but I'm going to see how, the week goes. Obviously, I don't think he's going to practice this week. They got to be very careful with this guy because they traded a lot for him. He's supposed to be a prized possession, a big-time player on this team. And they better not screw this up. That'll be a big L. What's up, media? A Boogie says, is a relatively wet field a cause concern with CMC with the minor knee issue? It is always a concern. Whenever you have any type of knee issue or any type of injury, really, and the conditions are a little atypical, they're not normal, yeah, you obviously have a little bit more concern for some type of injury. So, or to aggravate the injury. Running on a wet surface or a wet field, you're planning a little differently. You might take a different force to the knee. So, yeah, there's a little bit more concern when they're playing on a wet field as compared to a dry, normal surface. But the good news is grass compared to turf. But, hey, it is still going to change the dynamics. You can slip. And sometimes when you slip, it causes those joints and everything to stretch in ways they may not need to be stretched or not meant to be stretched. So, yeah, definitely. There is definitely a risk when there's a wet field. And the 49ers, Miami Dolphins game may rain this weekend. There's a 60% chance less yesterday when I checked. Let's check today. Let's check the weather app and see what they have, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what they got. Santa Clara. I'm in San Jose right now, but it's a hop, skip, and a jump from Santa Clara. Right now, there's a 50% chance of rain where I live on Sunday, and Santa Clara is a 60% chance in rain. So it's about 10 minutes from here, about a 10% different chance in rain, a little bit more in Levi Stadium. I don't know how much rain that's going to be, but there is a 60% chance of rain on Sunday. So Monique says she's not going to lie. As the day gets closer, I'm getting worried. That's funny because I said the same thing to myself. I wasn't really worried all week, but it's getting every day an inches closer. I'm starting to get a little nervous. The Niners, they got some injuries. I know the Dolphins do too. But it's gonna be a tough game. Tyreek Hill's a good player. Jalen Waddle's a good player. But again, it is gonna rain. And that will really help the 49ers. If it rains, that's just gonna slow them down. Jimmy Ward talked about a little bit. Actually, I want to talk a lot about Jimmy Ward today. We're gonna get that. What's up, media? Hit that like button. Exactly. Fio's God, what's good? What's so hard to press that like? Exactly, hit that like button, baby. What's up, Brendan? No rain. Christy, what's up? What are the chances we never see Kinlaw in a Niner uniform again, says Fios. I mean, there's definitely a possibility, right? There's definitely a possibility of Kinlaw not playing on the team again this year. I don't know. I think they're going to try so hard to make sure he pans out because that's a big L if he doesn't play. They're going to take a lot of licks for that one. They're going to take a lot of, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to take a lot of scrutiny and criticism if he doesn't. So I think they're trying so hard to make sure he can get healthy and they can play. And they've been so supportive of the guy, But there definitely is a chance that we may never see Kinlaw play again. Percentage, I'm gonna say about a 60% chance right now. I think it's still high. It could go higher. It could be higher than that. But again, he had a knee issue. He had an ACL, reconstructive surgery. He's had knee tendonitis. It flared up this year. And what's the chances of it to flare up again? Pretty high. It's an unfortunate situation, but there is definitely a chance where he may not suit up again. So we'll see. I hope he could come back, but you never know, my man. It is kind of it is a tough situation. It is a tough situation. Marcos Tua might be looking for another concussion. I mean, this Niner defense is going to come and ring his bell. This D line, and again, the pressure on this D line, that is the key. And I've said it all week. The key to beat the Dolphins is to get Tua, get him in his face. Don't let him throw the ball to those weapons he has. So, Super Bowl preview, says Ensign. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. The Dolphins, they're really good, but can they stop Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the AFC? I don't know. To me, the AFC front runners are the Chiefs. Their offense is just you got Patrick Mahomes, bottom line, and Kelsey. They just know how to come back and win. Dolphins are really good. Defense is not the greatest. The Chiefs don't have the greatest defense, but they are opportunistic. They make plays when they have to make them, and they're a veteran. They have a lot of veterans on that D line. From the last Super Bowl they've been in, the last two Super Bowls they've been in. So they got some veterans there that know kind of what to do, and they have a great coach, Andy Reid. I love Mike McDaniel, but this is his first year as a head coach. We'll see what he has to do in the playoffs. It's a whole different story. So I don't know if it's a Super Bowl preview. The Niners, we're not perfect either, but I think we definitely have a chance to make it there. NFC is wide open still. The Eagles and the Cowboys are probably your top two teams along with the Niners. Those are your top three teams in the NFC, I feel. But any given Sunday, you really never know. Appreciate it, Jonathan. Nick says, from a friend who's known him, I heard he's thinking of retiring. That is sad. I think you're talking about Javon Kinlaw. I mean, I could definitely see that if that is true. Obviously, it's speculation. It's a rumor. But if it is something that has some merit to it, I could see it being true. I mean, the guy has had a lot of injuries, and it must be mentally. It's tough, man. Mentally, I could already understand what he's gone through. I've talked to him a few times. He's opened up to the media a few times here and there. And I work in, injuries, and I've seen how the toll it can be on a player, on anybody really. The mental grind for any injury is just tough, man. So I could see it. I really hope he could come back and get one more chance to prove himself, but mentally, you don't know where he's at. Maybe physically he was okay, but man, mentally, that's the grind with an injury. So I mean, I do feel bad for the guy. So G Tech says I was in Levi's last game, and when Jimmy grabbed that knee, thought the season was over. Definitely a gamer. That's why it was really important to see Jimmy Garoppolo as a full participant in the practice report today. The guy, he's tough as nails, man. He's gritty. A lot of people may not like Jimmy, whatever the case. You got to give him his credit for being, a gritty player, man. Because I thought he was done too. When that knee went down, I was like, oh, he's done. And he not only the knee, he took some shots, man, to the shoulder, to the head, to the back, man. He was getting thrown around, tossed like a rag doll. So yeah, give him his props, man. He stepped in, and the fact that he's full go, that was good, man. Because I mean, if this season had to come down to Brock Purdy, no disrespect, I don't think we're beating any of these four teams we got. We got the Dolphins coming up. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got Seahawks, and we got the Commanders coming up. These next four games, these are some big games. These are big games, So we will see. We will see. Speaking about we will see, I want to kind of shift gears a little bit. I don't know if you guys heard what Jimmy Ward talked about yesterday. He was on KNBR. He had a long interview. It was actually a really good interview. Anytime Jimmy Ward speaks, to the media or when he's on live, I just love listening to Jimmy Ward. He's such a good speaker, and he says so much. And a lot of people have been dogging Jimmy because he has to play nickel, but the team needed him to play nickel cornerback, right? Because, okay, he got injured. Tashawn Gibson's been playing well. They had injury to Manny Mosley. They had to kind of play musical chairs in their secondary. So he says, I'm a team guy. Whatever you guys need me to do, I'll do it. He's not a nickel cornerback, but he's a safety that's showing the ability. He's getting better every week. Obviously he has to study film. He has to study technique because playing a nickel is a lot different than playing free safety, which Jimmy really does. Jimmy Ward was a top 100 player as a safety, and they forced him to play nickel. So I feel bad for the guy. He did say he's testing the free agent market. That was kind of a big gem he dropped, a little big nugget. I was like, oh, wow. He says they have not offered him a contract, and they are looking, and he's going to look into the free agent market. And I don't blame him. This is his last year under contract. He's been with the team for 9 years, and he said it himself. He's put his body through so much. He's gone through so much adversity. They tell him to jump. He says how high. He's done everything for this team. He's done everything. He's went through coaching changes, defensive coordinator changes, like so much. And he still continues to be a consistent player, a starter. He's been through injuries. And then this year they say, hey, we need you to play nickel cornerback, man. We need you to do it. Although he was a top 100 player as a safety. And he explained it. He goes, it's not easy, but he says he's making plays. He goes, I know I'm not always making the top play. I know I make some bad plays. But he goes, I'm trying to transition to playing nickel cornerback. And I haven't played nickel cornerback in years, man. So, he came into this season, thought he's going to play safety until the injury came. And, he was a little limited and stuff. So, I don't know. I feel bad for Jimmy. I don't know if they're going to re-sign him next year. I don't think they are. And I think he's going to try to chase that bag somewhere. So, it's unfortunate. I do want him to bring back Jimmy. But, I understand it. It's a business. And he's got to do what's best for him and his family. And I think he's going to try to put his best film on tape. And I think he's going to show, and he said it too. He goes, now I can be the safety that can show you that I could play nickel cornerback. He goes, I've been a versatile player through my whole career, and I'm going to utilize that to my advantage. So I could see him going to obviously these teams like the Dolphins and the Jets, right? They know Jimmy Ward. They might offer him a contract because, Salah and Mike McDaniel, but he may go somewhere else. But those two teams might come knocking, and if they have the money, they could take Jimmy Ward, and I respect the guy if he does it. But I would love to see the Niners bring him back. But what is he, 31 years old? They want to go young, man. They want to go young. I see them going young at safety next year. So we'll see what happens, man. I love the guy, but I see where he's coming from. And obviously, he didn't say he was frustrated, but you could kind of sense it. Like he was kind of like he kind of laughed a little bit. And he's like, they just put me in this position and I really had no choice. So, it is unfortunate for him. Niner by nature. The Dolphins and the Jets will probably play him at safety too. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And yeah, Jimmy Robinson says Gibson is 32. And that's the thing. It's not like Gibson's any younger. I don't think he's going to come back next year either. I mean, they got him as a rental, but he played his ass off. So you can't take Gibson off the roster because he's played pretty good. So you got to reward him. But I would still say that Jimmy Ward, is a better safety than Gibson. But you can't take him out because he hasn't like done anything to lose his spot. And at the same time, I feel like Jimmy's the veteran. He's the captain. He's that leader. So it's like you're saying, okay, your captain can't even play his own position because we need him at nickel because he could do because Jimmy could do everything. That's what they're saying. I don't know. It's kind of an unfortunate situation, but they definitely will probably lose him this offseason. And I could see him going, like you guys said, Jets or Dolphins. They'll probably play him at safety. So what's up, throwback? Niner Gang, Wolfcast, what's good? All the hot players, all the hot people are coming out tonight. What's up, man? Niner by nature. Let's go, man. Appreciate you too. Appreciate you. Go get that bag, he says. Poke that like button. Sack that like button. Yeah, man. Look at that. We got the heavy hitters. Christy Marie, what's good? Go blooded. Go blooded says Jimmy plays through injuries, but it seems his game takes a step back too. So it's a good thing if he's playing. It's a good thing. So is it a good thing he's playing if injured? But that's the thing because he's a team guy. Like it's a tough situation because he's in a contract year. He wants to play. Like okay, maybe he's not playing at the same level he was before, but he is injured, and they forced him to play out of position. So playing out of position, yeah, you're going to take a step back. You're not going to be as good as you were at the one position that you probably excel at. Like he even said, he goes, I'm a safety. I play my best at safety. But unfortunately, he has to play nickel. So, yeah, his game is going to be a little off, plus the injury. So it's a tough situation. If they're going to play him like that and he really is adamant about playing safety, he's not coming back. So what's up, Jay Real? What's up, Tracy? What's good, everybody? But, yeah, that's the situation going on with Jimmy Ward. It's frustrating for him, but he's a team. I do respect him because he's a team guy, and he's doing whatever he can to help this team win. And that is the biggest takeaway, man. The guy's a gamer, So let's see. Anthony Cook, what's good, man? Just tuning in. How you feel about Grant's take on Jimmy not taking open throw calls? Kyle says throw to a certain spot. You know what? I missed that. I must have missed the take, but I'll have to catch up on that. I've been so busy today. I wasn't online on YouTube or anything, so I'll have to catch up on that. I didn't see that take, but I do think that Jimmy and Kyle, they've definitely had some. What's the word I'm looking for? They've definitely had some beef between them. There's definitely been some, there's definitely had to be some growth between them. I think they have taken a step forward this year. There's always been that trust. Does Kyle trust Jimmy to throw? Does Jimmy even trust Kyle sometimes? Like you could tell that they are not on the same page 100% all the time. So yeah, there may still be some issues there, but at the end of the day, I think that they're getting better at communication. Jimmy talked about it, I think, a week ago on one of his press conferences, and he says, he does trust Kyle a little bit more, and that's something that they're getting better at in communication, which is crazy because it's been 5-6 years, and it's just now getting to that point where they can kind of trust each other. That just tells me, man, these two guys have not really been on the same page for all these years. So, it's something that they have to continue to work on, and Kyle has no choice other than trust Jimmy right now. And Jimmy has no choice than to trust Kyle. I mean, he's in a contract season, and the more, the better Jimmy does, the more money he's going to make, and the more his contract's going to be better next year. So they just got to work together, bottom line. So they just got to work together, man. Let's see. Do you think Kyle's tell Jimmy where to throw the ball, like one read offense? Do I think that Kyle tells Jimmy where to throw the ball? I don't think he tells him. I think he tells him, like, these are the plays you have to run. But I think Jimmy's the guy that determines where he's going to throw the ball because he is a one-read quarterback. He's that, I'm going to scan the field real quick because he's going to get the ball out of his hands super quick. I don't think Kyle tells him. I think Kyle tells him, like, here's your best plays. I need you to do these. But I don't think he tells Jimmy to, like, say, okay, we're going to throw the ball to this guy. I think Jimmy has the ability to actually sit there and say, I know where I'm going with this play. Like, he knows the play, and he's like, okay, Kittle's going to be here. I'm going to make that decision. As you can tell, he's always looking for that certain player. He kind of stares down the guy he wants to throw, right? But he's gotten better at making progressions. I've seen it. There's been some games where he goes third, fourth, even fifth, like the CMC touchdown pass against the Rams a couple weeks ago, that amazing sideline grab. Like, that was his fifth progression. So Jimmy has gotten better. I think initially, yeah, maybe Kyle used to tell him exactly where to go, but I think he's gotten better at letting Jimmy kind of dictate where he needs to do. And that's what I was saying, is there is a little bit more trust in um, their work together. There is a little bit more trust. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's gotten better. But he definitely is a guy that's going to look for those first two reads. Check down. I mean, that's why CMC was brought in. That's the perfect guy for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the perfect guy, because Jimmy's going to make that check down. He's going to make that first read most of the time. So, what's up, Alberto? Do I think the Niners did not put Elijah Mitchell on injured reserve because they're trying to bring back Kinlaw Trey? I think they're trying to bring back Kinlaw 100%. I definitely, again, that's a guy I think they really want to try to give another chance, because they don't want to take that L. So what we talked about earlier in the show is that's a guy that they are going to give all the chances to kind of be successful, and they're going to give him another chance. I do think they want to try to bring back Kinlaw, not necessarily Trey. I know Trey's looking good and he's getting healthier. He's a young 22-year-old man, and he's recovering quick, and as he should. He's got a super athletic body, but I don't think he'll be back this season. But I think specifically Kinlaw is a guy they want to make sure they bring back if he can. They're going to give him every opportunity. They got 6 more weeks. If they activate him off the injury reserve to do practice, to be in that practice. What's the word I'm looking for? To be activated off injured reserve for the practice designation, so he can go and practice for a couple weeks. You have 3 weeks once you're activated into the practice, designation there, and then after that, if he's okay, then he can, come back in any time of those weeks. So I think they're really trying to squeeze out Kinlaw and see if he can make it back. So yeah, I think they don't want to put. Also, they don't want to put Elijah Mitchell in there because they may not be able to bring him back, and I think they still want to make sure that he can play later down the line. So it's complicated when you have that many players on injured reserve. So there we go, Anthony. I can't wait to see it. You're gonna make that RSF 49er sign. You get it. We'll post it up. I can't wait to see it. Appreciate your shades. Loving the young jersey. What's your day job in Vegas? Actually, I don't live in Vegas anymore. I used to. I lived in Vegas for 28 years, I believe, in my life. But I've been out here in California, San Jose, since 2017. But I'm going back to Vegas this year to go see actually the Raiders game. But yeah, I don't live in Vegas. I'm a physical therapist. I got my doctorate back in 2012. So Greg says, I don't think Mitchell's coming back for the rest of the season. Yeah, I don't know. He may or may not. I mean, he's determined. He's got 2 MCL, strains, and that's tough on each knee. He had an MCL sprain on one knee and an MCL on the other knee. So it's like his knees are bad. That sucks for him. Obviously the knee that had it first time, it's going to get healthier and stronger. And then you got to worry about the opposite knee when he comes back. And then both knees are susceptible to injury. So is he going to come back? I think they're going to hope that he can, but they got to ride it out. Hope that CMC is healthy. I think they're going to want to hope that Jordan Mason can step up. And they got TDP. They're going to have to play him at some point, possibly. And then you also have Tevin Coleman, who's been sitting on the practice squad. So those are your guys. If Mitchell can't come back, it's going to be a tough situation. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Niner Gang Wolfcast says the hope for Mitchell is the postseason. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to really hold out hope that he comes back in a playoff push. But, I mean, 2 MCLs, that's bad. That's just horrible. That's just horrible, man. That's just horrible. So Tracy says we should have kept Wilson. Yeah, looking back at it in hindsight, it's easy to say that. But you also got to remember Wilson went through a lot of injuries himself for a couple of years, man. He had the MCL last year as well. He had surgery, or was it a meniscus, I believe? So, I mean, every running back that goes through Kyle's system gets damaged, man. That's the problem. Every single one of them gets hurt. So it's not like it's easy to predict, and it was easy to sit there and say, yeah, Mitchell's going to get hurt. They all get hurt. Every running back on Kyle Shanahan's system gets hurt. Like, it's the easiest thing to predict in the world. But hopefully he comes back in the in the postseason, Mitchell. But how effective can he be? And at that point, will Mason be cooking, right? So I just hope they can stay healthy, the rest of them, So. So Brendan says he's confused about the Arik Armstead situation. Not much to be confused about. He had 2 injuries. He had plantar fasciitis on one foot, and then unfortunately on the other foot he had a hairline fracture of the fibula. So he was probably putting a lot of pressure on that foot, compensating, and all that stress. It's kind of like a stress fracture. So it caused a small fracture in his opposite foot and ankle area. So he's had to kind of let that heal. Takes 6 weeks for a bone to heal, so you can weight bear and be, basically healed from an injury, from a orthopedic injury. So that was that. But he's a big guy too, so you got to remember 6 weeks may not be enough. Probably more 8 weeks because he's such a he's a massive guy. Plus he has the plantar fasciitis. You got to be, wary of that. So it took him a while to come back because he had 2 really bad foot ankle injuries. And he's a massive dude. So all that strain, imagine all that strain on those feet, man, you're going to cause pain. And then for a hairline fracture, you have to be pain-free in order to be, for the criteria, because there's criteria for return to play on all these injuries. The biggest criteria for a hairline fracture is pain-free weight bearing. So if he's standing on the foot, he can't have any pain. You can't lie about it, because if you go and lie about it and you go out there and you try to play on it, you're going to fracture it even worse. So. Gold-blooded says Ray would make a great check down guy if CMC isn't available. Hey, he's gotten better through the season. I mean, his hands were kind of bricks at the beginning of the season, but I don't think he'd be a bad idea being a check down guy. I thought they were going to utilize him more in those little slants, screens, jet sweeps, things like that when they got him. So yeah, he wouldn't be a bad option there. Any word on OBJ? Apparently, he's meeting with the Cowboys and the Giants this week. Giants going to try to wine and dine him, and the Cowboys are probably going to be the top guy. I think he's going to the Cowboys. I think he's going to Dallas. Any chance that they cut Armstead? I don't think they cut Armstead. I think they may do another restructure. They restructured him this year. I'm guessing they'll restructure him again. I think they'll keep Armstead. They like the guy. He's a good leader. He's kind of good community guy, veteran locker type guy. I think they'll keep him around. But I think they'll restructure his contract for sure, because they got a lot of people to sign and extend, and there's money that, there's going to be more money in the salary cap area. So I think that they'll definitely move some dollars around with some players. They did that, remember, at the beginning of the offseason. They restructured Kittle and Armstead. I would expect them to restructure Armstead again. They're going to just keep playing with the money, move it around. Because Bosa, he's got to get paid, man. Niner by nature was PT school challenging. Not for me. I was a science nerd. I was actually pre-med, so it was like my second option. But a lot of stuff happened during those years. But yeah, PT school. I mean, I'm not gonna say it wasn't hard, because you got to grind. It was a lot of studying, but it came like natural to me, I guess, because I just was always like a studious person. So I mean, I put in the grind. So I mean, yeah, you got to be able to be dedicated. You got to be able to kind of like put yourself down and study. And then at the same time, my daughter was born around the time. She was like 10 months when I started PT school. So it was like balancing being a dad, and we had a house and going to school. So it was a grind in a sense, but the actual like school part, like the studying part, that wasn't a challenge for me. It was just everything else. So yeah, I guess in a sense here it was. I mean, PT school is not easy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but you got to balance your life around it. Yeah, gold-blooded. People forget how oft injured Wilson Jr. was. That's the thing, man. Like that's what I was saying. Every running back on this team through the years has been injured, man. So We got a Dolphin. We got a Dolphin fan in the building. I was a nerd. I would just. I guess you could say that. I guess you could say that. I just like to. I just was trying to get. I was book smart. I guess. I don't know. You know, it's Indians. We're good at science classes. I'm not gonna lie to you. We're gonna rip those fins off. I hope so. Jimmy's knee is more serious than we think. I hope not, Tommy. He was full today. So we got a Dolphin fan in the chat. Shout out to the Dolphins. I hope we squish the fish. I'm eating sushi. If we win on Sunday, I'm going to get sushi after the game. 100%. Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack. You did say that. Thought on the NFL rating us at number 3? I mean, we do have the best defense in the league, so that should count for a lot. And the offense, if they can figure it out, they're one of the most dangerous offenses in the league. So I don't think it's a bad rating. This team has won 4 in a row. They've been playing lights out. They haven't let a team score on them in the second half in 4 games. So I think it's fair. I think it's a fair rating. I've seen 3, 5, but the 3 rating, I don't think it's a horrible rating. I mean, you can argue it. There's teams that could probably argue they're number 3 ahead of us. So I'm not gonna be mad if they do, but I think we're still a top 5 team. They're a first place team. They have the best defense in the league in like almost every category. So I think the number 3 spot's justified. They just got to be more consistent. They got to be more consistent offense in the red zone. Red zone inefficiency has been so inept. It's just been like so irritating to see them. They get all the way down to the red zone, and then they just like fail. It's like, come on, man. It's like, come on. So Shade says the Bills on Friday for OBJ. Yeah, that's another team that might be in the mix. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. 20th ranked defense for the Dolphins. That right there is going to be the difference maker. 49ers defense is just dominant. I know they haven't played like elite teams over the last 4 weeks, but they've been dominating the teams they needed to dominate. They had a tough challenge against the Chiefs. So again, this is going to be a statement game. It's going to be a challenge. You know, this is a big game for the Niners whole team, but specifically the defense, because they want to be the number 1 defense. You got to prove it against one of the top offenses in the league. First place teams, it's going to be a battle, man. I'm excited for this game. So, you know, there's a lot to prove for the Dolphins, you know, or for the Niners and the Dolphins. D'Amico Ryans, right? Everybody's praising them. Everybody's hyped up on D'Amico, as they should. Again, the defense has been just lights out. You could sit there. There's so many stats we could rattle out that we've rattled out all week. You know, 4 second half shutouts, all these big time numbers. But it doesn't mean anything if we get crushed in dog walk this week. Then you could be like, okay, because then the media is going to say, okay, they played a potent offense and the defense wasn't the same. So are they really the number 1 defense? So they've got a lot to prove on Sunday against the Dolphins. So. Yeah, exactly, Rocio. They do move the ball down the field. Well, they actually get the ball down the field a lot. It's just once they get to the red zone, everything tightens up. I don't know what to do. I think there's too many weapons sometimes, and then I don't know if they're there. Again, it comes back to Jimmy and Kyle. Is Kyle going to trust Jimmy to throw certain plays? You know, the windows get tighter. Some of these receivers can't separate as good, I feel like, in those short areas. Brandon Ayuk can. I feel like they don't utilize Jennings enough in the red zone. That's a guy that he's big body receiver. Use Jennings, man. Throw it up to that boy. Let him cook, you know? So. How does Fred, a.k.a. the Mexican Superman, go 9th on the top 10 linebacker? It's crazy, man. Pro Bowl voting is just, it's a popularity contest, and some people don't care about it. So it's kind of ridiculous, but we all know Fred Warner is probably the best linebacker. I mean, he's playing the best football of his life right now. He's playing out of control. So Fred's basically he's been one of the reasons this team has won over the last couple weeks. Like, he's stepped up his game, and he's been out there just flying. Superman, like you said, Superman. And not only him, Greenlaw and Aziz, the return of Aziz has been huge. That linebacking crew has been filthy, man. It's been nice to see. Of course, Bosa, I mean, he gets held like crazy, but he's out there making some big plays. So we'll see. Fred Warner, yeah, he's part Mexican. That was one of the big stories in the Mexico game. He's a part Mexican. I think his mom's side. Yeah, that's a good point, Gold Blooded. That's what I was talking about. Some of the play calling just it's weird. He doesn't run outside. Like you got outside run. You know this team can run outside stretch. Go outside, hit those stretch runs. But he loves to go up the gut, man. And they don't. I feel like Elijah Mitchell, perfect example. He's not a guy that's going to run up the middle. And they kept using him up the gut. CMC up the middle. Utilize him off the corners, man. I don't know. That's just one of those things. And then that Jimmy run play, that was despicable. I don't know about that play. I was like, what are you doing, man? So I feel like they question themselves. They get too complicated. They try to get too cute in the red zone. Just gotta keep it simple, stupid. Right? Got to get to Tua early and often so the defense don't get any rest. That's it, man. That's the key. Is again pressure Tua, man. I agree with you. Pressure that boy. Monique says Roger's a loser who shows up on the Niners page hates. You know what? This is what I said last night. I love when the haters come in and fans of other teams, they think they're so cool coming in like another fan pages or another content creators like territory, like talking trash. You're just giving us engagement. You're giving us clicks. You're giving us views. You're giving us engagement, especially if it's like a post, like a static post, and you start commenting because people are going to comment back. And then the post just starts getting more into algorithms. So I love when the haters come on here. They think they're doing something. They are, but it actually is beneficial to people that, content creators. It's funny. G Tech says Bosa takes the NFL sack leader spot this week. Ooh, if he does, that's definitely going to be massive for him in terms of defensive player of the year. But I feel like Bosa, as much as he gets the sacks and the pressures and all those QB hits and stuff, he needs to have a turnover, like a big turnover play. I said this before. For him to be in like the spotlight, because he still doesn't get enough credit, he needs to have a big time turnover this week. I hope he gets a strip sack, fumble, whatever the case. He needs to get a big turnover this week. Kai says, not trying to sound negative, but Ward and Lenore going to have a long game against Hill and Waddle. That's going to be next. That's a big matchup. That's one of the bigger matchups, right? How can the Niners secondary slow down Hill and Waddle? And the key, again, they have to pressure Tua. If Tua doesn't have time to throw to him, it don't even matter. So that's going to be key. But you're right. They're going to have their hands full because they're not going to throw to Mooney Ward. They're going to try to move Mooney around to kind of cover those guys, but they're going to throw every time to the opposite side. And Jimmy Ward's going to have to really help out at that nickel spot. It's going to be a tough battle. You're right. I don't disagree with you. I think that secondary of the Niners versus the Dolphins wide receivers is going to be that is the matchup of the night. But it is going to rain, so the rain may help the Niners slow them down a little bit. Those guys are quick. I mean, I could see someone pulling in a hamstring trying to cover these dudes because they're so quick. Like Tyreek Hill, God, Sally, that guy's too quick, bro. So we'll see. We'll see. Pressure. I agree. Gold Blooded says Bosa needs Armstead back. I agree, man. And we've been saying that all season. And if Bosa gets his boy Armstead back, his job's a lot easier. Because you're right, it's going to take pressure off him. He won't have as many double, triple teams. So hopefully Armstead can come back and play at a high level. I don't know how high. I don't know how effective Armstead can be. He's coming back. They don't want to overstress him. I'm sure he'll maybe on a pitch count. He'll be a little rusty because he hasn't played in several weeks since week 4, I think. So I mean, he is going to be a little rusty. It's been 2 months. So yeah, he's going to be a big help, but at the same time, how effective can Arik Armstead come into this game? So definitely going to be an X factor there too. So yeah, I agree though. Their defense, just on the other side of the building, the Dolphins. Nobody's talking about this enough. The Dolphins. It's not like their defense is all world. I think someone in the comments said that they're ranked 20th, so they're not the best. I feel Kittle can have a big day. They don't have great linebackers. Again, the run game, we can dominate if we really want to. The Niners are going to scheme this up, and they can score points. Again, you have Mike McDaniel and Kyle Shanahan. These two guys are going to go to wizardry battle. It's going to be two freaking Wizards. It's going to be like Harry Potter, Dumbledore versus Voldemort. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be crazy, man. That's how it's going to be. These two wizards of coaches are going to throw everything at each other. Chess match. You want to talk about nerds? You're going to have two guys at the biggest chess match of all time going toe to toe, throwing their spells at each other. It's going to be a chess. It's going to be fun, man. Both these teams are going to be scheming shit up. I can't wait, man. I'm excited. But yeah, that's it. I wanted to come on here, drop some injury updates and stuff. Getting a little hungry, so I'm gonna drop out, eat, and then we'll probably be on Instagram later. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Hope you guys had a good day. Appreciate the support. Thanks for everybody in the comments. For the most part, chat's pretty good. You know, there's a few trolls out there, but you know, it is what it is. The Dolphin guy, Roger, you know, it is what it is. Again, he secretly loves the Niners, but he wants to come in and act like a Dolphin fan. But appreciate you guys. We'll talk a little bit more this week. I'll probably be on a few shows on Thursday and Friday. But yeah, appreciate you guys. My man, Niner Gang Wolfcast. Appreciate the support and everybody else. So you guys have a good rest of your night. I love you. Let's go Niners. Let's hope we get the dub. Bang, bang. Niner Gang.